And Arsenal are out of the FA Cup. They fall in the fourth round this year to the hands of Southampton, courtesy of an own goal from Gabriel, and they are out. Is that the only realistic chance of silverware for Mikel Arteta's men? Gone. It was, in truth, an average, lackluster performance. Southampton having the better play, the better chances, having more chances. Arsenal turning to the bench and bringing on the heavy hitters, the Lacazettes, the Thomas Partey's, the Sakas. Just not good enough. Just not good enough again. And a big opportunity at silverware, absolutely gone. I know Gooners everywhere are going to be disappointed with this, but we're going to get a man like Adam Charles on. We're going to share the StreamYard link with you as well on the Discord server very, very soon to get you on for you to have your say. Make sure you're hitting the like and share button. Subscribe. Click the bell notification button. If you're watching on Facebook, keep watching. Keep watching. Hit the like button. Share this out there. It's a live phone-in show. So we're here for the next hour or so to talk about that game and some other bits and pieces along those lines as well. Big shout out to our title sponsors, Manscaped. You can get a 20% discount code off of all their products, including these bad boys, ball wipes. Keep yourself fresh for the ladies. Get that done. Trust me, boys. No breadcrumbs here. Let's go to the first of our panelists. We're going to get man like Adam Charles on, legend of the football terrace. Before that, quick super chat that says, there goes Arsenal's chance of glory this season. Yeah, no doubt about it. Arsenal fans would have wanted to have retained their FA Cup title. They had a great record in recent years. Lackluster performance there out. First up, man like Adam Charles is here with us. Adam, welcome back to the show, mate. Arsenal are out. Give me your instant thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It is what it is, though. I think it is unfortunate because we've missed an opportunity for more success this season. I don't think we're going to really get much in the league. I don't see us doing a lot in Europa League either. Yeah, but I have to give all credit to Southampton because they played very well. Ralph Hasenhuttl has got them, playing a lot of football, and everyone knows that, or a lot of good football. Everyone knows that. But I do need to say that there are a lot of things in Arsenal that need improving. Eddie Nketiah, I know a lot of Arsenal fans will say that he needs to, or that he's the future. He's the leader of the new school. Nope, not for me. I don't think the guy really is at the level that Arsenal need, especially when you compare it to some of our other youngsters. I look at Bukayo Saka, I look at Emile Smith-Rowe, and I think they're just a step above. And Eddie, for me, shouldn't be leading our line. It's a shame because we've got other youngsters in the squad, like Balogun, that I think are probably a little bit better. But we can't even seem to sort out that contract situation. So, yeah, there's questions for Arteta to answer. And as I've always said, there's a lot more problems that need to be addressed, and they just seem to come out in different games when we play better opposition. So yeah, that's where we are at now.
No, I hear where you're coming from. We've added Kesh, we've added Danny. Gal's just joined us as well now. I think that there certainly is. I want to go to Kesh as another Gooner. How disappointed are you to drop out of the FA Cup with all intents and purposes, a really sort of lackluster performance, no real gusto? Holden missed a good chance, but that was about it. I mean, quite a poor way to go out considering it's your title and your trophy.
I'm extremely disappointed. I'm not going to come on here and on my preview yesterday, I said we should be going for both. People saying, which one do you pick? I don't think it's a question. When you're Arsenal Football Club, you shouldn't have to pick between cup success and climbing up the table. You should want both. I said I would have liked to go for a stronger team, but I understand the reason. Like, you can't play Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe in every single game. Like, the season's got a long way to go. So I understand the rotation. The one thing I will say about Mikel Arteta is I do feel Partey should have started because he's only just recently come back. So that's one player that you could afford to start it. Obviously, you look at the likes of Pepe and Willian, and they just continue to disappoint. Like, I really do not understand what it takes to actually get these lot to actually show that they can contribute. It's very lackluster. Like, they offered nothing throughout the 90 minutes. It's just off and puff. And you saw when Partey came on, you saw when Saka came on. the team looked a lot more better because there's a lot more quality in there. But when you take those guys out, you know you're going to go back to the same stale bullshit that we saw during the last 2 months before the turn of the year. There's nothing to offer from these guys. These fringe players do nothing for this team. And I think as much as we're saying we need more quality, we're going to actually have to assess how we're going to strengthen the depth of this team as well. But you see when those guys are out, there's nothing to come in.
Now, I hear that. Igal, I mean, how are you feeling about that? You know, you've been very open that this is your trophy. It's Arsenal's cup. You celebrated it massively. It was a terrible performance, terrible selection from Mikel Arteta today. And so many of your fringe players are just not up to the task. How big a job is on the hands? I mean, you did a big sort of shout out yesterday saying that Arsenal mean business with signing, is it Matt Ryan in goal and bringing in Odegaard. Is that really enough? Or how much longer are Arsenal fans going to have to endure this inconsistency in these bad performances?
Listen, when you were playing a team, another Premier League side in a cup tournament, and you play majority of your second team, and they play, you can say they picked maybe 7 or 8 of their first teamers in the team. You know you're gonna have yourself a tough game, and especially Southampton, which is a team that presses you high and tries to force you into mistakes. Now today, what I'm gonna say is I don't know how people are gonna blame the manager for the performances of the likes of Pepe, the performances of the likes of Willian, the performances of the likes of Eddie Nketiah, the performance of Mohamed El-Neni and them guys, because they have not been performing up to standards, and these are the guys that he has in the squad. So unfortunately, the 25-man squad is not strong enough to compete in all the competitions that we're in. We can play with our strongest team in one competition and then try to get higher up the league or win the Europa League. But when it comes to competing in several different competitions throughout the season, we don't have a deep enough squad and we don't have enough good players to compete on a regular basis. And that is what the biggest issue is and that we need to address before we can focus on winning multiple cups or multiple titles. We need to first get more strength.
I understand that you need more strength. That makes sense. But when you look at today, Eddie Nketiah, complete fringe, not good enough. Cedric Suarez, fringe. But Leno, your first team goalie. Bellerin, your forget what you think. Your manager's preferred right back. Holding and Gabriel played lots of football this season. They're first teamers. Xhaka always plays. El-Neni, you raved about him. He plays a hell of a lot of games as an example. Yes, Thomas Partey should have started in front of him. Pepe, £75 million guy, has to do better. Willian, you only bought in this summer as one of your main first teamers. Martinelli is the wonder kid that's going to come on. You brought on Saka, Partey, and Lacazette. That was a lot of your first team, barring 2 or 3 players. You look at Southampton today, Djenepo out, Obafemi out, Redmond out, Teller out, Vestergaard. They're 5 first-team players out of their team today, and they still outplayed you. I get you've got to make your squad stronger, but surely Arsenal Football Club should be able to put better performances in against a team of Southampton's level with the players and money that you have on that football pitch.
This is the same team, Terry, that went against Liverpool, right, and beat them. And the only changes from that team that beat Liverpool is two players, the goalkeeper and I think Stevenson. That's it. So when you put it the way you put it, okay. But when you put it the way I put it, this is basically the team that went against Liverpool in the Premier League and beat them 1-0.
So because they beat a Liverpool team that right now are in the mud, that makes you okay with losing 1-0 to them. Come on, where are the
it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it okay. But what you have to understand is, if you don't start, I feel the way you start a game is the way you need to go on. And I feel when you start with that so slow, so lost over ideas, and then you bring in a party and everything, you're trying to chase the game, and you can't always switch on like that. It's not always that easy to do so. It's a mentality thing, and I feel the only way to get rid of it is to start refreshing the squad. These players who's got throughout the season, they're gonna give at least 85% consistency. You can't turn things on like that and switch it on and switch it off. It does not work like that in football.
But Kesh, you know why this happened today? You know why we've been the way we are today? Is because we're playing players out of position. There was no connection. There was no balance. Kesh, the last 6 games that we played well. Bro, the last 6 games we played well. We were playing with a balanced team, players in the right positions. We had an actual number 10 to link the play. Today we struggled to create chances.
It's not that. It's not that. First of all, I just want to go say quickly, It's how kind are Arsenal to give up their own cup that they own to other clubs, giving them a chance because they're back in the Premier League. You know what I'm saying? Like, just want to let them know that don't worry, Arsenal fans. It's not about the cups this year. You guys are back in the Prem, and that's what you guys are focusing on because you guys are dark horses. Anyway, Igal, it's not what you're talking about. Arsenal this season have struggled against opposition of actual quality.
Exactly.
Like it's got nothing to do with players playing out position. It's got nothing to do with it's got part to do with your squad, but it's also got to do with just where you are as a club right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your run. You guys beat a poor Chelsea, just about beat Brighton. You beat Newcastle, who have got Steve Bruce. You beat West Brom, who are a poor side.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drew to a team with a little bit of something about them in Crystal Palace.
I do feel you're discrediting us. I understand that we played 14, but you're discrediting us a lot there because Arsenal. You have to understand the way we played in those games. The likes of Saka and Smith Rowe, they set the pace from the start. So when you bring in a Pepe and a Willian who's not shown any consistency throughout the whole season, the team's level drops off a considerable amount. If Saka and the likes of Smith Rowe played today, you'd have saw a lot better link-up play. And I'm not saying we would have won, but you'd have saw a better performance.
Yeah, but
you can't listen. Throughout the whole 90 minutes, we played the game without Willian and Pepe actually being in the game. It was almost like we were playing with 9 men the whole game.
Even with your best players, you're even saying you don't know if you could have won. Do you not see the issue?
No, that's not what I said. Listen to what I said. I'm saying you should have won. No, you're not understanding what I'm saying, TJ.
I'm not saying you said that. I'm just picking off something you said, and I'm saying, yeah, can you not see that even if you're saying with some of your better players, you even said we don't know if we would have won that game. I said I'm not saying we would have won. I didn't say we could have won the game. I said people don't work like that. I can't go into every game and say we're going to win.
Guys, I get everyone's points on this. I want to go to Adam here. Eddie Nketiah started another game as a number 9 for you today. Arsenal Football Club are on the brink of losing one of the best young talents coming through their system in recent years. Fans are angry that the Balogun's going to leave. You know, who do you hold accountable for that? Is that an Arteta issue for not wanting to play him? Is it the player holding the club to ransom? Where do you stand on this argument? Because his name's trending right now globally. People are angry that he's not been given an opportunity. You've got, as Agal said, loads of substandard players, Nketiah, Willian, etc. Why isn't this young kid at the very least been given an opportunity by Mikel Arteta?
I think it's probably hierarchy, man. And it's unfortunate to say that, but I think just because Eddie Nketiah was in the first team more and more frequently than Balogun was, he's got his opportunity, and I think it's as simple as that. I do think that there is a real justification for Balogun to be playing at the moment because I don't, besides pressing and energy, I don't really see more in Nketiah. I don't think he has it like that. I think he'll be a great option to have off the bench, but I don't really see him as a lead in number 9. So it is unfortunate, and I have to look at Arteta in that respect and say, why didn't you get it sorted quicker? But then I go back to thinking about what's happening upstairs at Arsenal, what's happening in the boardroom, and know that there's a lot of turmoil there, and because no one really was able to pull their finger out there, it doesn't surprise me that one of our up-and-coming youngsters has been allowed to run his contract down. So yeah, it just speaks into the mismanagement of Arsenal generally, rather than me being able to pin it on Arteta solely or Balogun solely. It's just Arsenal as an entity that is lacking right now. And hopefully, with the structure that we have in place now, stuff like this won't happen in the future.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and I think that's a fair kind of summary of the situation. We're going to open up the lines in about 5 minutes for the viewers. Make sure you're hitting that like button right now. Let's get this past 1,000 likes, please, ladies and gentlemen. You have to sign up to our Discord server. That is where we now share the link for you to call in via StreamYard. Igal, you want to say something?
When it comes to these kind of games, where we play our second fringe player, our fringe players are on the cusp of making the first 11, we see the drop off from the start from our best players over the past couple of 6 games. And I think that this is why Arteta was playing a back 3. This is why when we didn't have Emil Smith Rowe in the team and Thomas Partey in the team, he was playing a back 3, because performances like today, we had so many attacking players on the pitch, they weren't doing anything. We would have been better off having more defenders in the back to at least stop Southampton, so we can then counter them. That's the team that we become nowadays.
No, bro, come on, man, no. Why are we gonna switch back to a back 3? Why are you gonna do that?
Sometimes when you don't have the personnel,
that's not the reason why we've lost. It's nothing to do with having more defenders and more midfielders. The team just didn't play well. They didn't play well. It's as simple as that. Why are you going to go to Southampton and switch to a back 3 when you've been getting your results with a back 4? You've got to show consistency with that formation. It's about the team. It's not about the personnel. These lot should be turning up. They should be putting in a performance, and clearly they can't. So the simple solution is to move them on and get your quality of players in. It's about the standards. You need to get better players.
Kesh, if you don't have the actual personnel to do the formation the way you were playing, the way we were playing was we had let me finish. We had the personnel that we had Lacazette, who's linking up play as a striker. Okay, we had Aubameyang, who's a runner, coming into a box and helping in scoring. We had on the other hand Saka, who's being a creator, and we had Emil Smith Rowe, who's helping creating, and then everybody else was doing the industrial work. When we do the lineup that we put out today, you cannot tell me that Aubameyang, that Martinelli can do the Aubameyang role. Yes, but Pepe cannot do the Saka role. Pepe is not a creator. He's another guy who wants.
You can't. The reason why you can't look at it like that, because there's still fans in this fan base that believes Pepe is the hit. He's not the hit. He is a piss poor player. Piss poor. When are we actually gonna acknowledge this and just call a spade a spade? Like, understand he's not the player that we thought he would be. Okay. There's nothing wrong with putting your pride away and saying he's not good enough.
Okay, so if you don't have personnel,
sorry, I don't understand. What is your point again? Like, what are you?
My point is, if you don't have the personnel to play the same style of play with the people who come in as substitutes, you have to change the formation to suit the players that you have playing that game.
And you think the players that we had on the pitch today were more suited to playing 3 at the back?
Willian was invisible. There was no point of having him on the pitch. We would have been better off.
If the personnel are that bad, why would switching to a back 3 make any difference?
What do you mean? If you're playing with 4 people in the attacking third, okay, and none of them are linking up, connecting at all, you're better off putting another defender in the back so you have a more balanced team and you can put your wing backs to help you.
What makes sense though?
Guys, I want to go to Danny. Danny's been kind of sitting there very patiently, just sort of listening. I want to get Danny's views on this. Before I do that, a super chat from Jerome says, "Worst excuse I have heard from Miguel. Thank you, Kesh. At least you are not deluded as Miguel. Just accept that we did not play well at all." Danny, give me your thoughts, bro.
I don't understand why people are getting on a goal. All he's doing is trying to explain to you. He's understanding why Arteta's making the decisions that he's making. That's it. Do you think you played well today?
No.
So you guys are going around in circles. Look, at the start of the season, Terry, I looked at Arsenal on paper and I had them 7th. Am I surprised that a team who I think are 7th best in the Premier League, with an inexperienced manager, when they rotate their squad, they end up losing 1-0 to Southampton, who were in decent form in the FA Cup? I'm not surprised. This is the worst Arsenal squad and first 11 I've seen. I'm 33 years old. This is the worst Arsenal team I've ever seen. The worst Arsenal team I've ever seen. It doesn't really matter what Arteta does. It's almost a poison chalice for him. Like, Pepe's an absolute disgrace of a signing. Absolute disgrace of a signing. £72 million.
Wow.
He came with all this hype. He was 24 when he signed, or 25, going on 25. There's no potential there. He's not going to get any better. Willian's past it. Why Xhaka is still there? I kept hearing Arsenal fans say, when Holding comes back under Emery, when Holding comes back. Holding's average. Bang average. A guy got to get on you. Rob Holding over Lindelof.
I just came up the phone.
Why would you even tweet that, my brother? Absolute joke.
Hang
Like,
on. When,
Holding's not even better than Twanzebe. Like, and Lindelof's
sorry. Cut in. When did this get said?
He tweeted it today.
Tweeted it.
Today, bruv.
Listen, Danny.
So if you want to get on a goal, get on a goal for that. But like, not for Arteta.
You said Rob Holding.
I'm
Why
deleting it.
you celebrate? Don't celebrate stupidness,
I'm
bro.
deleting it. I'm deleting it.
What do you mean? You can't
I'm
do
deleting it. I'm literally deleting it.
Man's deleting it, bro. Honestly, that's terrible,
Listen,
bro.
what you have to understand is, in my perspective, I might not watch every single Manchester United game, but I've watched Rob Holding play this season, and he's played majority of our games. He's played the most games out of all our center backs, and you know what? He's basically been our first choice at times.
Terry.
So that led you to say that.
Oh, chest.
Bro.
Oh my god.
Adam,
I didn't bring it up for you to bury yourself even further. Like,
Wait, I'm confused. But listen, Adam, I want to go to you, and then we're going to open up the phone line and let the public get themselves involved here as well. All our viewers, nearly 3,000 people watching. Keep hitting like and share buttons, people. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. What now for Arsenal season? You're not winning the Premier League. Highly unlikely you're going to make top four. The Europa League's got so many good teams in it. You're out of the FA Cup. From this point moving forward, what does success look like now?
I think it's keeping ourselves in contention, if that makes sense. I think realistically, we need to be looking at 7th, 6th. That's what we need to be fighting for. Europa League is pretty much the best we're gonna get, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's what we got to be fighting for. And as bad as it is to say, because I think Kevin's absolutely right that Arsenal, a team of Arsenal stature, should be fighting for cups and the league. But
sorry, I always think of Len Goodman when someone says 7th. You're gonna fight for 7th,
bro. Like we have to. Like Daniel, like this guy said, we're this is the worst Arsenal team we've ever seen. This is genuinely the worst Arsenal team we've ever seen. So you can't expect more from us. So really and truly, 7th is the best we're looking at, especially with you got the top 6 is not even really a top 6 anymore. It's like a top 7 because Wolves and Leicester are really pushing. That's the best we're going to hope for. And I'm not deluding myself into thinking that we can get more than that, because the quality of players that we have in the squad outside of the first 11, or maybe outside of like maybe 8 players in the first 11, is not good enough to get us any higher than that. So yeah, that's what
football is a game of small margins. We need a little bit of luck on our side also. Don't underestimate the amount of times we've dropped points where we could have easily picked it up. I'm just saying, like, I know it sounds silly, but if I'm not even going to run through the laundry list of games, but I was just saying, at the end of the day, if we get luck on our side, we could win the Europa League, and we could still push easily. Listen, as much as you guys are laughing, let's keep it real. It's a cup competition. It's a cup competition. Any team that you face on any given day, you could beat them. We know our Arsenal team is poor.
One other thing I'll say, what I will say about the Europa League is, I'm not saying we will win it, but we're not going to drop out of it the way everyone's kind of claiming that we ain't got a chance. We've got a chance to at least get to the semi-final. That's a fact. Like, it's a cup competition for a reason. You know, like, you're going to have the likes. Those are the games where you're not going to be able to rotate the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe. You have to go full pelt. You know what I mean? So we have got
Can I just
go on, Danny.
No, I was just gonna say he's got a goal, man. I love you, man. But with a bit of luck, Liverpool can beat Man United tomorrow. With a bit of luck, Man United could beat Liverpool. With a bit of luck, United can win the Europa League. With a bit of luck, Leicester might win the Premier League. With a bit of luck, I might win the lottery. Like, I love you because you're so optimistic, bro. But you need to just protect your heart. Protect your heart, man.
I'll tell you what isn't lucky. 20% discount on Bullwack from Manscaped. They're our title sponsors. Get yourself into the link in the description below. Also, ball deodorant. Love it. They got this is my favorite. This is the Weed Whacker. This is for all man with nose hair, bro. This thing here, right?
I need that, you know.
You put it on. Hear that? And then No, I didn't really. I'm joking. It's really good. There you go. I get a bit of nosy. I'm getting old. It's really good. Used it on the outside of my ears. They're a bit airy. Say, like I want to go Turkish barbers and they put the thing on the big cotton bud and bang your ear with a flame. I can't do that because of lockdown. So there you go. Get the weed whacker. All good. All deodorant. Happy days. We're going to open up the lines now. I want to know what the public are thinking, what the public are feeling. First up on the show, we're getting, I think this is Daniel, but his name right now is Ateta out, Edu out, everybody out pretty much. Dan, welcome back to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say?
Same old bullshit, Terry. Southampton were all over us. Willian, he gave the ball so many times away. The defense was poor again. And for the first goal, I'm going to criticize the communication because Leno should say, that's mine. He should communicate to Gabriel, that's mine. But because there's no communication, Gabriel doesn't know what he's doing.
He should have been flat-footed. That should not be nothing to do with Leno. As a defender, he should
they should communicate. That's what I'm saying. Okay,
you
but
go for that as a defender.
That's your opinion, but they should communicate which one's which. Terry, do you remember after Palace, I said Eddie Nketiah is one of the worst strikers to ever play for Arsenal? Do you see now why? Does this guy know how to shoot? Seriously, does he know how to shoot? Because I don't think he knows how to shoot.
I don't know. I don't think so, bruv. I look at him and I genuinely see a League Two player.
Yeah, and if no journalist in the press conference is going to ask him, due to Eddie Nketiah's poor performances, why not giving a Balogun a chance? Oh yeah, because they want to keep their perks at the club. But I want to ask all the panelists. Arteta came in first game, 26th of December. Arsenal were 10th. We're 10th now. He got knocked out of the round of 32 in the Europa League, which I don't care what anyone says, that's atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
We're 10th now. No improved performances. So why are you lot giving him a chart? I still want him in the job because seriously, it's not good enough. And Adam said we want to finish 7th's the target now, right? This is how much the standards have dropped as a football club. I'm not criticizing you, Adam. All I'm just saying is, no, that's not good. That's not good enough, bro. In 2005, I remember Jens Lehmann did a post-match interview after the FA Cup final. When we beat Man United in the FA Cup, we finished second on the FA Cup. They said it was a poor season. But now, if we finish 7th or in the Europa League, everyone's going to be having a party, celebrating. That's why I say the fan standards have made us decline as a football club. Rafa Benitez is out of a job right now. I don't know if you saw, but he left his job today. If the club had any bollocks about them, they'll go and sack Arteta now because nothing has improved in a year. And they'll go and hire Rafa because I'm pretty sure Rafa will take us up.
Can I ask a question to Daniel?
There we go, Daniel. Listen, thank you very much for your call, Daniel, mate. Really do appreciate that. Guys, I want to ask the panelists. Thank you, Daniel. I want to go to Igal first on this. Rafa Benitez in. Would you do what Daniel just said? Bring Rafa Benitez in?
No, because we still have a manager in his job. If he was to be sacked,
that's not the question. Daniel said, he wants to sack Arteta now and go and bring in Rafa Benitez. Do you agree with Daniel's opinion?
No, that's a little bit reactionary after one loss to Southampton.
You should have kept him on, Terry. You should have kept him on, Terry. I would have wanted to see what his analogy is for after that. So where do you go after Rafa Benitez? Like, what's your idea of bringing Rafa Benitez in? Does that suddenly just take us to being a proper outfit now?
Well, listen, maybe I could have kept him on. I'm going to go to other calls. It was more of a quick question for people to say yes or no, whether they agree with it. I think his view is Rafa Benitez is a much better manager. He would take your squad and be able to move you forward, get better performances. What I'd say to Igal, Daniel ain't here to defend his point, is Daniel wanting Rafa Benitez in and Arteta out isn't because you just got knocked out of the FA Cup to Southampton. It's the 12 months of issues that he just spoke about is his rationale behind it. And I think just because people were Arteta out 6 games ago, winning a few matches isn't going to suddenly make them change their minds, I don't think. We're going to go to some more callers here. We're going to get Samuel on the line. Samuel, welcome back to the football. What do you want to say, mate?
Bro, I said to Igal before the game, and something's not right because we're playing so slow. We looked at Nketiah, he's getting so many chances and he's just shit. Simple as, he's just shit. And Willian, I think I got a stat here. We've played over 8 games that he's played. In the last 4 starts for Arsenal, 155 minutes played, 2 shots off target, 0 shots on target, 0 chances created, 0 dribbles succeeded, and 0 accurate long balls. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know where you expect to go with that, honestly. But yet you're gonna pin that on the manager. Yes, I understand the manager's playing him, but the manager's playing because he's gone fucking 200 and something K. What are you gonna do? Drop him and play who? Arsenal need to just go and get players. They need to go and buy better quality players. It's a simple solution. Me and Danny spoken about this all the time. Yeah, we've dropped our standards in players, and this is where the drop off has come. Your players are poor. You're playing for Arsenal. They can't manage the weight of this club. It's as simple as that for me.
Hang on. Sorry, guys. Is this super chat true? Did Arteta have 2 goalkeepers on the bench?
Yeah, because the bombing had to
Yeah,
go.
he had 2 goalkeepers on the bench because Aubameyang went
come back.
home for personal reasons before the game.
There must be other outfield players you can put on that bench, an academy player.
No, you need
what
homegrown players.
What I think happened was he was in a idea of putting Matt Ryan on the bench because Ronaldo is meant to be going out, so they both travelled, and he was going to decide late which one to put on the bench.
Okay, fair enough. I thought, because, you know, sometimes Pep Guardiola's done that to make points, hasn't he? When he's had injuries, he hasn't put an academy player on a bench when he probably should. I get with the whole mixing of bubbles, it might have something to do with that. Anybody else want to respond to what Samuel said there about what Samuel just said there?
I mean, it speaks to the point that I've already readjusted how I view Arsenal. That's why I don't even banter them or make fun of them. Like, or even when people like just want to blame Arteta, let's just get the manager out and get another manager in. It's like, okay, maybe if you get Rafa, you front like you may challenge for top 4, but guess what? You'll finish 7th. With Arteta, it's just blatantly obvious that's where you're going to finish. If I'm telling you your ceiling is 7th, right? Why are you surprised you're 10th now?
Listen, at the beginning of the season, one second.
Do you get what I mean?
One second, guys.
If you get Rafa, let's say you get Rafa in, like, what's the plan? You bring in someone like Rafa to steady the ship because he doesn't suit Arsenal's profile anyway. When I talk about this Arsenal team being the worst team I've seen in 33 years, it's not just that bothers me about Arsenal. Arsenal, I keep saying this to people. I'm a Man United fan, right? When I was growing up as a kid, up until about the year 2000, there was a debate about who played the best football in this country. From 2003, Arsenal won that debate. They played the best football in the country from 2003 to about 2012. That was Arsenal's title because they signed technically gifted players. When you looked at an Arsenal team, you knew you were going to get technically gifted players that played a good brand of football, and they've just declined gradually, year after year after year after year. And I look at this team. So if you hiring Rafa, how does Rafa get you back to what you're supposed to be?
Can I respond to you first?
Rafa doesn't fit the profile. If you want to get back to being that type of Arsenal team that play entertaining football, challenging for things, Rafa doesn't fit that profile.
Respond for me, and then we can move on.
Okay, simply put, at the beginning of the season, the board released a statement saying that even if Arteta finishes 10th this season, they will still give him the summer window to improve the squad. So to me, immediately, that tells me that the board have lowered the expectations.
They put that statement out.
Yeah. It was Kesh, you've seen this too,
I remember
right?
seeing something like that.
Yeah, I'm just asking because
this was publicly known. I think it came from either Goal or from Charles Watts. I think that's because I think he's one of the mouths for the team. They said specifically that at the beginning of the season they're backing Arteta to the point where even if we digress or we regress 2 spots from what we did last season, that he will still be back in the summer window. So when people are saying fans are the ones that are lowering the expectations, fans are the reason why this team is bad. It's not. It's because the board, and they're already pushing this narrative out that they're gonna be understanding if we're 10th. So that means in my mind, they're prepared.
Fair enough. I hear that. Samuel, thank you very much for calling in, buddy. We'll speak to you again soon. Next up on the show, Latimus is here. Latimus, I know you've called out Arsenal fans in recent times. What have you phoned in to say today, bro?
When you beat Chelsea and you went on that run of form, I said that, great, because I've been saying your players aren't this bad. You shouldn't be where you are. So is this not the level now you should be expecting? When the emergence of Smith Rowe happened, I said to you guys, as good as he is, will this not be something your board will use to say, we don't need to invest and get more creative players? We have Smith Rowe. He's our future. And even though you got Odegaard in on loan, it's only a 6-month loan. If he balls out, which he should because of his talent, he's going right back to Real Madrid. Also, I've been saying for time that you guys, like I predict you guys to finish 7th. You are a mid-table club. So people who are reacting because Southampton beat you, where are they now? I think they're in the top 4 or they're 5th or something. They have one of the best managers in the league. They have one of the best squads in terms of how they work in the league. Like, why are people reacting for losing to Southampton?
I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Listen, I don't get the comment section.
You don't
Terry,
you know what's
what
Prime?
Why are you reacting to losing to Southampton?
Very quickly, Prime. People need to readjust. Like, just look at what Arsenal are now. Forget what they were. It's really that simple. Yes, the history of Arsenal in the Premier League suggests they should be doing better, etc. They got these resources, new stadium, blah 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 blah. But look at the quality of players they have. Leicester have better players from back to front. It's not even debatable. I can name 5 Everton players that would start for Arsenal. I can name maybe 2 or 3 Wolves players that would start for Arsenal. Before we even talk about Tottenham, Chelsea, etc. Like, you just need to be honest about the quality of the Arsenal team. And when you throw in an inexperienced manager in Arteta, the proof's in the pudding. It's not hard, man.
No, I get that. And that's what I was about to say. I think the expectations. It's one of those weird things. I get where Lee Gunner comes from when he says, "I have," and it's a bit like sort of Ollie Out has had this same thing. My expectations are sky high, but there comes a point in life where you got to lower them. In the sense that the way I look at it is this: if my son wants to be a 100-meter sprinter, and I'm desperate for him to make it to the Olympics, but every time he goes to a trial and a race, there's 9 other people on the track that are just faster than him. There comes a point where I've got to lower my expectations of my son, and I've got to temper his expectations. If your daughter comes to you and she's saying, "I want to be a singer, mummy. I want to be a singer, daddy," and she starts singing and it's awful, she's like, do you know what I mean? She's like, "There's I'll come out too much." It's like you've got to temper that expectation. You know what, my little sweetheart, my little princess, a Beyonce you are not going to be. Now, you do it nicely. So I do think there's this element of, so there's 2 options Arsenal fans, I think, have got, and all fans have got of clubs that they don't think it's, you change your expectations to what you are now, or you maybe spend the next 20 years of your life really angry, really annoyed, really frustrated, because you know what, when you watch something like The X Factor and you see that bang average singer lose their temper with the judges, that's because everyone close to them their whole lives has told them, "Oh, you're an amazing singer." They're not. They're as flat as a pancake. They can't sing. They can't rap. They can't dance. But everyone around them's told them they're big. I do think with Arsenal, if in the next couple of years you don't start performing and acting like one of the big 6, one of the original top 4 again, honestly, you've got to start just saying we are a mid-table club now. History you've become Nottingham Forest. You've become Aston Villa. You're no longer the superpower in terms of on the field that you once were. And maybe the expectations do need to be lowered. Prime, appreciate you coming on, mate, having your say. We'll jump to some more callers here. Thank you. Next up, we're going to get Curtis on the show. Curtis, welcome back to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say, bro?
Well, I want to say, what Arsenal players would you let in your team, Terry? Like, name how many players you would let in your team in United.
In United's first team or squad?
First team squad.
First team squad. I'd have Saka in the squad. I'd have Martinelli in the squad. I'd have Partey in the squad. There's no doubt about that. So there's probably 3 that legitimately I would take. Everybody else, we have far superior players in every single position.
So that's what I'm saying to you. Like, there's 3 players out of 11 that is good. We've got another 9 rubbish players that shouldn't be in Arsenal. We've got Willian, Eddie Nketiah, Pepe, all flops. Rubbish.
This is why I said don't get carried away by these recent results. Like, Arsenal fans, we're too forgiving. Like, remember, this is the same squad that was picking up L's before the turn of the year. So why are we suddenly start thinking, "Oh yes, this squad is good again"? Like, it doesn't work like that.
Who was doing that? Like,
there's a lot of Arsenal fans that
you haven't learned your lesson. Like, what more is there that you need to see?
Listen,
Can I say something?
The reason why I've been saying what I've been saying about Arsenal is because there's still a portion of your fan base that will sit there and run with it. Even the gal was getting a bit carried away with it the other day.
Like,
as
you know,
well. Like,
Terry,
it's the reason why I do it.
this is what it is though. This is the notion I get from Arsenal fans, yeah. And I feel it's a lot of the League One supporters, because what they do is, I understand Lee's expectation. I get it totally. But I see fans saying, listen, look at the way the league's going. Like, we should go and get this player, that we can suddenly push on. They still, because of where the league's going, they still believe we can push for the top four. I get that. But what quality players I stand, I'm not saying players that's going to come on and just be an improvement in Shaka. I'm talking quality players when you know they come in and you know they're stand out. They're the ones that's going to take you forward. That Arsenal's going to get in this window. There's none, but they believe we can get it and then push for the top four. It doesn't work like that. The best time for Arsenal to make their mark and be serious is in the summer window. And obviously, I don't trust Edu and all that to get it right, but that's the best time to do it.
Yeah, no, I get that. And like I've said, and I'm not going to reiterate the same point around lowering expectations. There must have come a point, and I'd love to hear from an older Nottingham Forest fan, Ipswich fan, Villa fan, Leeds United. There has to come a point where all these fan bases at some stage went, we've just got to change how we view our football club. The past is the past, and we're now in the here and now. You know, it's.
I will say, though, I don't think we've reached that point yet. I do agree that it's bad. I do agree that it's the worst it's ever been, but I don't think we're at the point yet where we need to say Arsenal are done as a big club and they're not coming back for Pat. Like, I don't think we're at that point yet.
You know why though?
Why?
Because of money.
Because
of the money.
Sorry, Adam.
Let's be honest. Danny, let me finish. The money that's in the game nowadays is not the money that's in the game nowadays will never allow a top club to completely go down. Even a team that gets liquidated like Rangers somehow comes back to the top of their league. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not saying you're gonna get relegated. We're just saying you're no longer gonna be a top team. You'll just be a mid-table, run-of-the-mill team.
I get what you're saying.
Can I just ask Adam to elaborate on his point why he believes that?
Yeah, sure. No, it is partly to do with the money. I think, like, I know as fans we like to think that I want to win trophies and that's all that football players care about. But sometimes it is to do with the money. Like, football players want to earn money. A lot of them come from poor, like real destitute poverty, and Arsenal can offer fairly high wages. The fact that we're paying Ozil £350,000, Willian is on a stupid wage as well. But then on top of that, I believe in the way that Arteta is trying to clear out the dead wood, which is necessary. I believe that he knows the technical level required for Arsenal to actually start progressing again. And I believe, as Gal said, that's why the board have said, we're going to give him the summer transfer window, and then we're going to start judging him from that point, because I believe he has an understanding of what Arsenal need to get back to. And that's why I'm willing to say that Arsenal are not done just yet. If that happens, then I can say...
Can I elaborate?
I've got a follow-up question to that. If you guys don't keep getting if you guys can't get Champions League and all you guys are doing is getting Europa League, doesn't that also mean your expectations need to be lowered as well? Maybe it's not as much, but it's still an expectation lower where you have to realize that Champions League is not our thing anymore. Maybe you have to turn, like, maybe you are a Wolves, maybe you are potentially a Southampton, where that is the goal.
I would argue that most fans have made that adjustment though. I think it's an ambition for us to get into the top four, but most fans recognize that the Europa League is our level. That's where we are.
Our expectations fluid though.
From there.
But you know what it is though, Adam. Me and Terry have spoken about this. I don't think we've spoken about why you've been around. Obviously, I know you're over 30. You never tell us your age, Adam, but you remember when you guys were building.
He's not. He's mid-20s, bro. I'm just saying.
Okay, he's got the wisdom of.
I just look over 30. That's all, bro.
Do you know what it is? So you remember when you guys were building that stadium to put you in a stronger financial position, right, to compete with the European elite. What happened? You didn't anticipate Chelsea and City coming through, let alone, as Terry's pointed out, the TV deal, the money that people get from TV money now has leveled things out. So because you don't have Champions League football, you're not really that much. You don't have that much more firepower than Leicester even, or those other teams. Let alone Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, City.
And that's
Like,
that's
those
great
us
point.
four were clear of you, Adam.
Yeah,
We're
no, that's
clear
true.
financially.
That's true.
So that's why I'm trying to understand where your optimism is. You guys are going to have to just
Adam,
recruit
Danny.
extreme. You're going to have to recruit like Leicester. That's
Sorry,
your only
just
hope.
one quick point. So it's for the reason why I think that there's optimism on my point is because I look at teams like Leicester and think if you buy smart and sell smart, there's hope for you to progress. And I believe that Arteta is tapping into something or a similar smart system like Leicester are. And I'm just hoping that he proves me right rather than prove me wrong. And that's probably where the optimism is.
Terry, the reason why I elaborate on what Adam's saying is because, listen, Arsenal's not a poor team. I mean, we're not a dead club. We just got an average team. And the change comes from the owner and the people in the recruitment to start getting better players. Like, you look at the likes of Jack Grealish. Like, if Man United do not go for Jack Grealish in the summer, it will be criminal of Arsenal not to go for a player like that. That's the right direction you should be going in. And if that does happen and Arsenal don't, all Arsenal fans need to show outrage. Like, it will be criminal not to go and put a bid in for Jack Grealish.
Yes, you just put on a point I was sitting there thinking, and I know Agal's mentioned something about sort of expectations being fluid, and of course they have to be agile and fluid because things change. And when I talk about expectations dropping, let me just reiterate, I don't mean consider yourselves relegation fodder. I think that you're too big to have the expectations. Like, you're too big for your expectations to be, we're happy to survive in the Premier League, as an example. I think having the expectations every year of, if we don't make top four, I'm going to be angry. I think that's where we're getting to a stage, or we're at a stage where you have to say that isn't the level, because City Football Club in general are clear of Arsenal. Chelsea are clear in terms of the financial element. And then you've got teams that are like Man United have pushed past you now. We know where Tottenham are, and I'm pains to say it. And then the likes of Southampton and Leicester's don't have as much money as you, but I would say in the last 10 years, they've been run impeccably. So you've got a job to catch those. So I would say and I know a lot of old-fashioned gooners are not going to like hearing this, but I think your expectations need to be, over the next 3 years, our job is to get ourselves back past Wolves, back past Everton, back past Southampton, back past Leicester, back past Tottenham. And then once we've achieved that, then you move on to, there could be a 10-year goal to be title winners again, right? But it's a step change. And this is what I've always had this argument with Ollie Outers around. My expectation is for us to win the league again. But I never felt we could go from where Jose Mourinho left us to being league title winners in 1 or 2 years. Now, this season, we're halfway through the door of a title race. I think that's come too early. The regression of Liverpool has definitely helped in that. Our improvements there as well, but the regression of Liverpool has maybe made the opportunity come along earlier. But it was always a case of, I want to get to that same expectation and Ollie Outer has, but I know that it's going to take 2, 3, 4 years to build. Plus, you can't, where other teams are at that same time is important. Like we said in the summer, Arsenal are going to look to improve this year. But so are the other 5, 6 teams around you and all the teams above you. So sometimes you might get better, but yet if 4 or 5 teams are in front of you also improve, you're not going to overtake them. So the expectations do need to be fluid. They do need to change. But what Danny pulled on's right. The money in football is the leveler. So what it then comes down to is, how well is your football club run? What is the plan? Forget the managerial philosophies are a nonsense to a degree. A manager's going to coach and put his team out there. There needs to be a club philosophy. How we're going to play, the types of players that we want, wage structures, scouting, where we loan people from. There has to be an approach. And even if they get stick for it, and I'm going to banter all my rivals, I'm going to be like, it's a Saki manager. Dude. Of course I am. I'm a rival fan. I'm not a television presenter. I'm not a radio presenter. I'm a football fan that hosts a football show on YouTube. So I'm bantering my rivals. It's happening. But Arsenal fans and the Arsenal Football Club have got to get behind a process and go, do you know what? There's going to be some rocky roads ahead. There's going to be lots of ups. There's going to be lots of downs. But let's maybe see a plan. On a real level, you've got to wait for a plan to come to fruition before you judge whether it was good enough or not. Because I'll give you an example. If Man United do, by some miracle, win the league this year, imagine we sacked Ollie 12 months ago when most people like me were calling for it. We may never have achieved it. We could have won it with Poch and won it by even more points. But that's something we don't know. It's conjecture. It's not based on anything factual. It's just a feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Terry,
I've got a super chat here. We're going to take some more calls. Sorry, again. One sec, mate. Zane here says, Arteta out, Terry. We still are going to smash you at the Emirates. That actually, listen, Zane, I'd love your thoughts on your performance today and everything else. Thank you for coming back to the Football Terrace as always. Really appreciate it. A man like Daniel here. It says Giroud left for trophies. Obviously, Daniel's a Chelsea fan, putting that out there.
What, is Lampard winning a trophy this year or what? Sorry.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah,
Can I say something, Terry, to what you just spoke about?
Yeah, you can do the final point on this, and then we're going to move on to what's next for Arsenal in terms of fixtures.
I feel like everyone keeps talking about the recruitment. Everyone keeps talking about the manager. Everyone keeps talking about Edu this, Edu that. To me, the biggest thing we can do is that can change the club the quickest is to go get a leader on the pitch. I know it's very cliche, but if we were to go get somebody who is a commanding leader that can demand respect from the whole dressing room and demand performances and a level of standards from every single player, that will raise our performance levels more than getting 3 to 4 young kids or 3 to 4 senior pros that can come into the team.
Have you got somebody in mind, Igal?
I'm not. I don't know. I don't have a.
I've got someone in mind. I've said his name already. He might not. Grealish, like he leads by his performances. You see what Bruno coming and done for Man United. They lead by their performances. If Arsenal had a Tony Adams right now, I'm not saying we will be doing exceptionally well, but we will be doing a lot better because it would demand that you put in a good performance.
So I hear you on that. So my question would then be, if Man United go in with a £70 million bid this summer, if City go in with a £70 million bid, and if Chelsea go in with a
then we've got no chance. Then we've got no chance.
Well, no, but you do if you're also prepared to pay the same in salary and pay the same in transfer fees. And this is the difference. This is why I think in the long term, those clubs are going to generally finish in front of Arsenal more, win more titles and trophies than Arsenal over, say, a 10, 15-year period. And that's why you're going to fall into that pack behind you because you roll more like a Leicester or a Southampton. You just, if you get in terms of the finances,
guaranteed game time though.
Yeah, but he's the thing though.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, KJ. Would you say, Gal?
For people who want moves like Odegaard that are looking to develop at a big club, we offer them more game time than other clubs would offer.
No,
so
but
obviously not Grealish.
Jack Grealish gets game time at any club in this
game time at any club.
It's easier is the modern day Gaza, bruv. I want to move on though and talk about the next. You play Southampton next in the Premier League. So I think that psychologically for them, winning today is going to be really, really important. We are going to take more calls. We've got people waiting in the back room. The link's been shared on the Discord server as well. I'll go to Adam first on this. Your run of fixtures coming up now is
techie.
It's immense. You know, you've got Southampton next in the Premier League, then United, then Wolves, then Villa, then Leeds, then City, then Leicester. It's a 7-game run, which is just like on a level. Adam, how are you feeling about that run of games? And out of those 7 matches, how many wins do you honestly think you're picking up?
Bro, I think we'll beat Leeds. And that's probably it. I don't know about anything else. Yeah, I think we'll get a better result against Southampton because just purely because of personnel and lineup. I think we'll beat Leeds. As for Wolves, Manchester United, I don't even want to speak on. We're going to save that for a preview. I'm going to see how I feel on the day. And then Leicester, who are flying at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. Because the thing is, Aston Villa should have even really beaten Man City the other day. They had so many chances. And if they make that many against Arsenal, I don't see them being as wasteful.
Well, do you know, I agree. You know, when I watched the Villa game the other night, this is why I'm starting to, I wrote City off earlier on in the season. They're proving me wrong. And that's part and parcel of, that's what I love about football. You look at a team and go, yeah, you ain't going to do anything. And then suddenly it's like they put around results. Villa looked, in those final moments in front of goal, Villa looked a bit shook. And that is what I've seen in the last 3 years with Liverpool and City when they've been at their best. That's how teams have been. They make half an opportunity, but then they go, oh, no. For whatever reason, they bottle it. Igal, what about yourself? These next 7 games are massive for you. Huge. Because you know what's going to happen. If you come through it, if you have another run like the previous 7 before this little block of wins in the league, you know what's coming for Arteta. People are going to... Do you think you'll have a good run and win 3 or 4 of these matches, or are you sort of not confident in that at all?
Terry, there's a lot that can change from now until we play a bunch of those games. Because let's look at it. We could be getting in Odegaard. He could make a difference to the team. We don't know. On top of that, we could get a major injury that would affect. So predicting that far ahead is almost impossible. But when it comes to the next couple games of the run, I would say when it goes to the Southampton game, we're going to play a much stronger team. If Arteta goes with the team that we've been playing with over the run that we've been winning, I'll be a lot more confident that we can get a victory from that game because of the intensity those young players have.
Let's bring it down into what you say. So in the next week, in the next 7 days, you play Southampton followed by Manchester United. How confident are you of walking away with 6 points from those games?
Right now, I'm not going to say I'm 100% confident. I would say I'm looking maybe get 4 to 3 points from those 2 games.
How about yourself, Kesh? How are you feeling about this upcoming fixture run?
Listen, I'll take it game by game. Like this season, you have to look at the way it's been played out, and you have to look at the way our form's been just before we had these recent results. You can't call these results, and it also depends on if we can keep the likes of Saka and Emil's fit. And remember, they're young, so they'll have games where they're not informed. So you can't guarantee Arsenal will get many points.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear literally what everybody's saying. I don't think it's fair. I think you do need to take it game by game. Do you know what I would say to a lot of rivals? And we're playing you in this with Man United. I think part of the reason you went on this good run, the Chelsea games, the West Brom, I think a lot of teams started to relax on you a little bit. They saw you win nothing. Like they saw you over a period of like 7 games. They saw you draw 2, lose 5. But when you played Villa that time, they beat you. Was it 3-0 they beat you?
Yeah.
When Villa, I'm looking at the results. Yeah, when Villa beat you 3-0, when Wolves beat you, when Burnley beat you, when Everton beat you, I looked at those teams and it was almost like they played against you with so much intensity. They knew they still had to play well to be able to beat you. I know Chelsea have been in bad form, but then I almost felt this element of a lackadaisical approach from teams towards Arsenal. Arsenal are finished. Arsenal are dead. Arsenal are easy to beat. We just need to turn up and we'll win. And I think you've caught a lot of people cold in that regard. Like a bit like AJ when he went in against Andy Ruiz. You just thought, this little fat guy that eats Mars bars and the wrong... And then suddenly he got hit on the chin and was like, oh my God, I'm not ready. I'm not mentally prepared for this. So I sort of think that when I look at Man United's game in a week's time, and of course we're going to preview this in the week, I'm more scared about playing Arsenal than anyone else in the next 5 or 6 games.
Yes.
Arsenal actually scare me more than anybody else. And it's just because of how good Arteta is with your players. You've been a bogey team in the last couple of years. And it's my little fears with United. I feel like we might approach, if you get beat by Southampton, I'm almost certain to predict an Arsenal win against Manchester United. I just am.
And why is that, KJ? Arsenal judge, right?
Arsenal judge, fam.
Can I respond to something? I have a thought in my head. I really don't want to lose it. When it comes to right now, these next 2 games, say we get 6 points from the next 2 games, right? Just hypothetical. If we were to get 6 points the next 2 games and we look like we're closer to the top 4, that is actually going to hinder us more because some of our fans, even myself, I might get disillusioned and start believing that we can get top 4 at that point. And if we even get a sniff closer to top 4, what's going to happen is it's going to cause the fan base to be even more toxic. I can already see it happening. We win the next 2 games, perhaps. Then we're going to be like 2 to 3 points off top four if people drop points, everything. And then people are going to start saying, Kesh, you can see it happening. The fan base are going to turn and they're going to say, if we're this close to top 4, we should be getting it. It will become a new target of ours. And if it does become a target, that's even more dangerous. Right now, the expectations have lowered. That's the best thing for the club because right now we're in a hard reset and people have to understand that.
So that doesn't count as, but didn't you just ask for fluid and agile standards?
Say it again? No, yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, if you're having such a bad season the whole season, you get 2 points away from top 4 at the end of the season. People are going to say, oh, the manager should be sacked because he bottled it. But he should actually be commended for coming back into the race where we were so far out of the race.
It's flip-flopping for me, man. Like, you can't be grounded and then go up a level, then something happens and drop that down. It's mad.
Fluid standards, that needs to almost be a sort of year-on-year approach as opposed to game-by-game approach. I think that's it. Interestingly, you say that as well, Gal, because when we spoke about Ollie last year for recovering from his position, you didn't seem so complimentary, but that's another conversation for another day. We're going to go to more calls. We're going to get Mr. Tokyo on the line here. Welcome back to the channel. Who do you support, bro? And what do you want to say?
I support United. I'm a United supporter, but I've been wanting to engage with you guys for a while, so thanks for having me on in the first place. I'm gonna speak as a United supporter, but as much as we can banter Arsenal and all of that, I'm just gonna back Arteta a little bit because, I've been a very avid Ole supporter. I've been Ole in, even through the goods and bads, just because I'm just tired of changing managers. Arsenal, not exactly in the same scenario in my perspective, at least over the past couple of years, they've had their issues. But at least when it comes to the manager, it's a guy who knows the club in and out, and he knows what winning there means. He knows, how hard it is to lose as well. So there are so many issues with the club at the moment. He doesn't have the full team to fulfill his potential, what he wants to do. So I don't think it's a valid argument to really go in at him and say we don't know how he wants to play because he doesn't have all the players. Ollie, as much as there may be arguments saying he hasn't been backed, he's been backed enough to at least show what he can do potentially, which we may be seeing right now in an overachieving manner. But when it comes to Arteta, that's one thing I don't really. I think it's a little reactionary from certain Arsenal fans when they want him out. I think he definitely deserves the summer window to at least give him a chance for the club to invest in him. When it comes to today's game, particularly, the one thing I didn't get is why he didn't go with a stronger team. I understand the Aubameyang issue, but even then, I thought he did kind of play down a little bit. It is a very good opportunity for them to retain their cup, retain confidence. But yeah, overall, I think yeah, they're in a difficult spot. But as Terry was saying earlier, he couldn't have said it better. They do need time. It has to be a step-by-step process, and they have to be realistic, right? There's no point really, as you said, reaching for a higher goal when it's practical that they can achieve it. And I kind of also agree with what was said right before I was on, that like maybe overachieving or getting near the top four may not be that helpful when it comes to the toxicity within the fan bases these days.
Yeah.
But overall, I think as a United supporter, as much as I like to banter Arsenal, I think Arteta needs to be given his time regardless. And maybe if they were still near the relegation spot, at this point, like they were maybe 2-3 weeks ago, that's a different argument. But he has shown some progress. He has shown.
I hear you on that, bro. Listen, brother, really good call. Thank you for coming on, having your say, mate. We'd love to chat to you again. All the best, Mr. Tokyo. That's his username has the word Tokyo in it. That's why I said it. Next up, we're going to get Max Watto on the show. Max Watto looks like a Liverpool fan, but with his emoji. What do you want to say, Max?
Thanks for having me on, Terry. Love from Australia. And I was just wanted to ask Gal, do you think that Arteta will get the best out of these players and make the best decisions in the biggest moments if you get into a top 6 or top 4 race? Because I think is that he's going to bottle it. We saw in the FA Cup today, he chose Nketiah over Balogun. I'm pretty sure Balogun scored a hat-trick like 3 or 4 days ago. And then he
It
was yesterday. So he's clearly got, as much as it's against Brighton under youth's team, like he's got a finishing instinct, and I think he probably puts one of those chances away.
Okay, let's put that question across to Igal then. Igal, what's your response, bro?
I think if buts and maybes, we could talk about everything all day. The real fact of the matter is he doesn't have the quality of players to be competing at the top of the top right now. We've been struggling all season, and I can't go out here and definitively say we're going to fight for that and we're going to get it. But if we were in a situation where we could get it, and he wasn't picking Willian and Partey week in, week out, and we had Odegaard coming in and he was firing, and Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe are still on the same level, it's a possibility we can get it.
There we go. Max, thank you very much for coming on, asking your question, etc. We're going to do one more call. Brandon's with us. Brandon, the Arsenal fan. What are you saying? What do you want to say, bro?
Dead, aren't we? Dead. I think Mikel Arteta has got to take some blame for today because 7 changes. Yeah, that's too many. I expected changes, but, maybe 3 or 4, but 7, that's a madness. You're basically changing 3/4 of the team, and out of them 7 players, only 2 of them are actually really good enough for Arsenal, and that's Gabriel and Martinelli. The rest of them, not good enough. Pepe, not good enough. Willian, not good enough. Bellerin, El Neni. You can go on and on and on and on. And, to be honest with you, when I see that team lineup, I expected it.
Did he not do the same against Newcastle? There was no complaints there.
Sorry, say that again, mate.
So did he not do the same against Newcastle? There was no complaints there.
But the difference is, though, Kesh, is we won the game, mate. You know, this Southampton team is a mile better than Newcastle. Yeah, they've been doing really well this season, and they picked a strong lineup as well. You know, what I don't understand as well is just after half time, he chose to bring off Martinelli. Why not Willian? Why not Nketiah? Why not any of these players? They weren't doing nothing. You know.
No, I agree with the Martinelli thing. I agree with the Martinelli thing. The only two things I criticize him about is the taking Martinelli off and not starting Partey. For me, those two decisions.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Have you thought about the fact that he wanted to start Aubameyang maybe, and Aubameyang missing was also a big factor to him having to change his whole lineup last minute, because it seemed like there wasn't a plan after the fact that Aubameyang was gone.
Gal, can you do me? I don't know how far you are away. Could you just stretch a little bit behind you and grab them straws for me?
What?
Can you just grab them straws, bro? Jesus Christ! Listen, Brandon, thank you very much, mate, for coming on, having your say as ever. We are going to do one more call because I do love this guy. Zane's with us. Zane, what do you want to say, bro?
Do you know what, Igal, man? I'm telling you now, you're delusional, bruv, because you lot in a vicious cycle, bruv. I can talk about it because I'm a Liverpool fan, right? You can't get no quality players in now. What have you got to offer players, bruv? You're out the FA Cup. You're not going to win the Europa League. So what? Top 6 is your thing, right? And look at us, right? All you're going to get is dead players that we got. We got Cisse, we got Balotelli, we got El Hadjouf. That's the kind of players you're going to be getting because no one's going to come to your club. Oh, hold on. Let me finish. And if you do get any good players, like for example, we had Suarez and Torres, the bigger clubs are going to take them off you anyway. So basically, you're done because you ain't got a manager that can at the moment that's proven that he can develop and get the squad going. We got lucky with Rodgers that he actually managed to get us going, right? So I'm telling you now, you're not going to get anyone players because you have to pay 250, 350 minimum just to get anyone to come to you, because any player who wants to win something, they ain't coming to your team, bro. Honestly, a player would go to Leicester, then they will go to Arsenal. If they had a choice, go to Leicester or Arsenal, they'll go to Leicester, bro. And then when the facts.
Zane, you're talking about getting players in. At least we're linked to players, mate. You guys are in a situation where you have 7 to 10. At least At least we're linked to players. You guys have a crisis in your defense. You have a crisis. You have your 2 best midfielders playing in the back. We're not challenging for a title. We're trying to get back to top 4, top 6. And you're talking about signings for Arsenal. At least we're trying to do something to improve our squad. You guys are challenging for a title, not doing nothing.
You're missing the point, bro. The standards you're talking about. Matt Ryan, come on, bro.
Before you throw salt, you keep talking about your team's in a situation. My team, I know my situation. We're being in a situation. We're looking up. We're looking up. We're looking up at you. You guys are setting yourselves up for failure.
Did you get your number 1 targets this long, or did we?
Thiago chose us over other teams we could have gone to, so that says something.
What about Werner?
Werner, I bought FSG. I told you they didn't want to pay the money. So what can I do? And as I said about FSG out, it's coming, bro. The noise is coming.
Comparing Arsenal now to Liverpool back then. Liverpool never had a financial ability to even go and spend back then. That's the difference. Arsenal can go and spend the 45 mil. Liverpool couldn't do that back then.
Yeah, but now Leicester, the big TV money's come in. You lot are on the same level as Terry.
You can't banter us. You can't banter us about signing. Your club can't sign your own targets.
Please,
no. You can't banter us about signings when Liverpool Football Club are in a title race, have a centre back crisis, and they can't even get a first team centre back.
I can. You lot went for you got a lottery ticket, there, bro. You're banking on a 22-year-old.
Listen to me clearly. We have signed bigger profile players than you over the past 7 years. They are not. That's not what we need to do. Maybe we need to look at signing lower profile players that have the hunger to grow as players. But at the same time, you cannot come out here trying to troll people about signings. Realistically, we know Arsenal are still a big football club in the sense we can attract the top players if we pay the right money.
What players have you signed? Odegaard, is he a top player?
Do we have to pay over the odds to get top players? You should know this as a Liverpool fan. Mane was not a top signing when you got him. Salah was not a top signing when you got him. You developed him to that level. So don't act like Liverpool are out here signing Mbappe, which you guys keep talking about. You're not getting Mbappe. You're not getting Mbappe, bro. But guess what? If we speak about today, Arsenal have a better chance to get Jack
Adam's
Grealish
face,
and
bro.
drop the money.
Adam's-
Jack Grealish, bro. You're delusional. How are you going to get Jack Grealish? Why would he go to you lot?
Guys, do you know what this reminds me of? Do you remember that thing that was like went viral like 20 years ago called bum fights when two tramps had a fight on the street? Like, remember bum fight?
No.
He's like watching two broke clubs by players like fight, argue over. I've got more pennies than you've got pennies. My giddy.
Liverpool fans been trying to copy Manchester United and Arsenal's flow. Now that they're struggling, they're trying to say FSG out. Are you guys delusional? You guys won your first title in 30 years. Now you're trying to say FSG out.
I'm keeping it real. You like no one, bro.
Keep copying us.
No. Copying what? You're dead players. Yeah. We don't want to do that, bro.
The team that's at the top of the league.
Zane comes into the stream and just like literally throws a grenade in. It's the first time Adam's met him, and I can say,
what the hell is this guy talking about, bro? It doesn't even make sense.
It's why I've not added into the group chat yet. Zane's the kind of guy in the group chat that makes other people leave. It's like they mute it, and in a week they open their phone and there's like 6,000 messages. They're like, I've got to leave this group, bro, because I ain't got no battery left. The data's gone by the time I read all these messages. Data out.
Man. You're emotional, bro.
There's a comment here. Sorry, guys. There's a comment that says Grealish wants Champions League. Arsenal should be looking at promising Championship players, not an insult. I do understand. I get that point from Canton R14. I also understand where Kesh is coming from when he said they should be. If other teams don't go in for him, then why not? If the Champions League team doesn't make a bid for him this summer, I would expect on Arsenal. I would expect these teams, because everyone has the money for this now. Like everyone's getting £200 million a year in TV money. Like, and some of these teams don't go big. And at the end of the day, look how much Villa has spent in the last like 2 summers. I swear they spent over £200 million on players.
Yeah, you should see what they've been spending in the Championship. It is mad.
We're going to add Jezza to the call as well. Jezza, what do you want to say, mate?
I just wanted to say that we can't.
Sorry, Jezza, have you been coming on the show a little while? I just realised who you look like. Do you guys remember Sister Reggie?
Oh nah. Hey, listen, he looks like that Romeo and Juliet film.
I know. Yes, I know who you mean. You look a bit like a. You remind me of that. Was his name Reggie? The younger guy who used to fancy the twins and never got to go on a date with them. Anyway, bruv, make your point. Sorry, I digress.
Anyway, I just heard a comment that I couldn't let it slide about Arsenal winning the Europa League. Yeah, I don't know how we can let that slide, especially when you got Nketiah up front, as your third choice striker. Look, you don't have the squad for Europe, so don't get your hopes up for that. I think, like Terry said, like Adam has said, just focus on getting 7th and staying steady and going again next year.
Yeah.
I support Chelsea, Eagle.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not talk about the Europa League. I just came to end that there.
You asked that question like you was about to give him smoke for what club he supports. I swear you come on the show every stream and smoke other teams and say, you don't know who I'm supporting.
No. I thought he was wearing a Tottenham top, honestly.
Oh, I see.
Listen, there's no guarantee of winning Europa League, but you are ruling it out. Like, say we can't go further in this game, like in this league, in the group stage, in the final stages. Like, what's to say we can't? You're saying Nketiah has even been starting in the last 6 games. Nketiah hasn't seen any pitch.
Yeah, no one's saying you can't.
No one's saying that you can't. No one's saying that you can't.
When someone says you can't win it, it's not.
What's the relevance of that statement?
When someone's
relevance to that statement? If Arsenal's out of the FA Cup, there's no relevance to that statement. If you're out of the FA Cup and you're not getting top 4, why can't you go and push for the Europa League to get to the final?
Kesh.
When people say you can't win the Europa League or you won't win the Europa League, no one's saying you're not going to get past the round of 32 or the round of 16.
Yeah.
They're just saying whatever point you get to, you could get to the final, and people will still believe that you won't be able to win it. They just don't think.
You also have to look at the teams in the Europa League.
Look at the teams
every year, though.
Look at the teams in the Europa League that are left.
The FA Cup last year. Luck's changed. You get lucky games. You can't predict that right now.
One question about Europe. Sorry, peeps. Is it the knockout stage is 2 legs or 1 leg?
I think they're 2 again.
2 legs. Yeah.
2 legs. That makes it harder, because I think if you'd have played 2 semi-finals, against Man City, like 2 legs. I don't think that would have happened twice. But no, I do hear you. Listen, everyone who's tuned in today, massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Please check out Manscaped for your 20% discount. Sign up to our Discord server. Subscribe to the Football Terrace Clips channel. All the links for that are in the description below. We're back later on today with more content and, of course, building up to the big one tomorrow. Manchester United hosting Liverpool in the most famous and romantic football competition in the world, which is the FA Cup. Congratulations to Southampton for going through. Arsenal in the mud again today. We absolutely love it. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.